What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be installing this CTS Turbo intake, cold air intake on my Audi TT 3.2 liter, trying to get a little bit more power out of it. I caught this on sale, on the holiday sale at BMP Tuning, and it came with the free shipping and no tax on top of the sale, so I just jumped on it. I was going to go with the Evolution Motorsports because it comes with a velocity stack filter, and this one comes with this small filter, and it has what they say is a built-in velocity stack. But when I stuck my hand in it, I could feel like a little step right before the the velocity stack turns down inside. So not the best. And then this filter is just real small. I don't know, it might work, it might not, but I'm gonna try these other two velocity stacks that I had, like this one right here with the K&N filter, and this is Skunk Works. Has a little bit of technology built into it. These little dimples right here are supposed to make the air move even faster. It's kind of the same technology as a golf ball. Golf ball has these dimples all over it, so when they hit it, the golf ball actually goes further. So I'm gonna probably test out all three at some point. Probably run one for like a week or a few days and try another one and try another one. Also, while I'm in there, I'm gonna install this Cool Flow DSG filter cover. It's by USP Motorsports. It's the factory cover is plastic. This one's metal, and it's got these ribs on it, and it's supposed to help cool the transmission fluid of the DSG. So this was on sale, a real good sale too, so I went ahead and got it. And while I take this out, this is sitting right over the transmission, so once I take the air box out, I'm going to have access. So I'm going to go ahead and install this while I'm in there. The Evolution Motorsport box is almost exactly the same, except theirs comes with a velocity stack filter, something like this, but I think it's not metal, it's composite like that one. And the only difference on the box, their box is about exactly the same, but the only difference is on theirs, this part is open, it's not enclosed. So that's why I went with the CTS Turbo box, because it, shields it more from the heat with this part going across right there. And especially being that this part right here is on the engine side, that hot air would just kind of spill in. So I just went with this one. I already had some velocity stack, so I just went with this one. The only thing is this is metal, so it would have heat soaked. So what I did was I went ahead and put some of the DEI heat shield on it, all over the whole thing, bottom, top, sides, back, everything, to help protect it from heat soak. All right, I'm gonna install this, and then after I install, we'll see how it sounds, and then go from there, go for a ride. read about some people having an issue when they install these with the bottom of the box rubbing on this coolant pipe right here. So I put some of this heat shielding around it, and the bottom of the box is like doubled up on the heat shielding anyway, so it's pretty soft, so it should hold up. Take your these rubber grommets out of the bottom of the factory air box and put them onto this filter, to the housing of this one. So I got one in already, and the other one sits in that little recess right there. And that's so when you mount the air box, it goes on like factory onto these. And then there's a bolt that goes through that one. But I broke one of these, so this back one I'm just gonna put a screw and washer through it to hold it on. And just go from there. Alright, that's it, it's in there. Not super easy to install though. It's like some of these holes just didn't line up, and then, you know, trying to get this on and the box in there and everything. But it's in there. See how it sounds. Damn, it's got some grunt to it. I need to detail the motor. I'm gonna try to later find these hoses in red again. I was liking how the red was contrasting with all the black and silver, so I could use this one. I'll have to cut it though. And then I seen some of these online, but I just got to make sure they got the right bend on it. So they got a 90 and a 45, and the 90 was, it comes off and it would shoot this way. So the 45 would be best. I think that's a 45, so it'll come out and turn that way instead of doing the 90 like that. I'll get all that later. She sound good. We're gonna take it for a test drive in a little bit, and I can talk to y'all about the 034 TCU and ECU tune. It's been like 2 days, so no, this is third day, Sunday, so it's been adapting. I noticed I haven't driven it today, but when I drove it yesterday, I felt a lot more low end power. Initially I didn't, because when I went and got tuned on the way back, it was a 6-hour drive, so, but it was all freeway. So I took it out a few times, and I did the launch control. The launch control now is, it goes up to 4,500 RPM. I think factory is 3,000 RPM. But initially when I did it, I was like, it didn't feel good at all. It bogs down. The factory bogs down too once you let off of the brake. But I went out last night and did it again, man, and it was way better. So, you know, like I said, it's still adapting. I'm going to drive the car to work this week, so it'll give it some stop and go driving, and then it'll let it adapt more. And then hopefully, like I said, with this intake, I think they said it's supposed to add like 10 or 15 horses. So hopefully it does. And I got a few other things I'm going to be working on too. I ported out the stock manifolds, the stock exhaust manifolds. So I'm going to heat treat those to keep even more heat out of the engine bay. And then this got the metal valve cover, not the plastic one. So I'm probably going to heat treat the valve cover, and then I'll probably put a little bit of heat treating under the intake manifold to keep it from heat soaking. And that'll kind of let the car, you know, keep the heat soak out of the intake track, so it's lower intake temps, so the computer's not pulling as much timing, retarding as much timing to protect the motor. So that should give me, well, let me retain some horsepower. And then later on I'm going to do an exhaust. I'm still looking into that and see what other bolt-ons and stuff I can do. And then we'll just go from there. I'm gonna put all this stuff away and we'll go out for a test drive. I just came out running a few errands for a couple hours, a little bit later now, but I'm over here at what I call my test spot, so I can do a launch control for you, so you can see how it is in this car. I mean, it's not like a turbo car, so it's not nothing super amazing, but you know, it's pretty cool. I was out earlier and I felt the box temp, and of course when it, you know, when the car is sitting, you know, it's in a hot environment, so it still gets pretty hot. But of course not with the heat shielding on it, not as hot as it was, you know, without it. So it's a little bit cooler in the box. And then when the car is moving and I pulled over to feel in the box to see if it was still hot, it was like real cold, because you know, because the factory air scoop is still feeding air into the box when the car is moving, so that works out pretty good. So I'm gonna wait for some cars to go by and then put it into launch control. People with these cars already know how it does. I was out on the freeway too, and it shifts just way, it smooths out the shifts a lot. It's just like super smooth, but it's still aggressive. So they did a real good job with the stage 2 tune on this. When I looked online, it was saying that they had a stage 3 tune, but when I clicked on my card, it only shows stage 2. So I might hit them up later to see if they have a stage 3. This one, the stage 1, I think the factory DSG rev limit is 3,000. I think stage 1 took it up to 3,400 or something like that. Might have been a little more, but stage 2 takes the launch control rev limit up to 4,500 RPM. That's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna go up here to the light and give it a pull. And like I said, I can still feel the car adjusting to the ECU tune and everything also, you know, with the mixed different driving I've been doing. So get to this light up here and I'll pull over and do the launch. Yeah, but it feels good. I'm gonna be honest with you, the cold air intake I just put on, I didn't really feel anything. But then I wasn't paying, like, you know, super attention to it or anything. I think I'm gonna try the other one in a few days and see how that one does. I think it might have just been like a little bit better throttle response to it too. Just seen A7 go by, and a Camaro, a Beamer. It's like everybody comes over here to test their cars out. All right, so I'm going into S mode, ESP off, lock the brake, and it's at 4,500 RPM now. You just take your foot off the brake. That's only fourth gear right there. Nice. I'm almost on E too. I'm gotta go get gas in a little bit. Yeah, but this is fun. Yeah, I see all the cars lining up over here by the factory right now. They're probably going to be doing some racing. I'm not. But this is a pretty, usually a pretty safe spot to like come data log or, come test your car out, stuff like that. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do one more pull when I get back down further, because there's no cross streets or anything, so there's no cars in front of you, you're safe. One thing I did notice is that right after I got the tune and I was going to the freeway, I noticed the exhaust note sounded different. It didn't sound as deep as before. And I guess that's because the car was still adjusting, and then it felt the same until about even before 5 miles. By the time I got on the freeway, I could feel I started feeling a little difference, and the car was adjusting and everything. So from there, it just kept, I felt it getting more and more aggressive. One thing I'm gonna do with this later is I'm gonna if I take my my Haldex fuse out, this car will burn rubber on the front, and that would be good for like if I went to like a track day and I wanted to like drag race. It would let me do it there. It will let the wheels burn out and heat up the front tires. But I saw a guy with a RS3. He said there's a company that sells a switch. You can make one, and all it does is it cuts the cuts power to the fuse for the Haldex to cut the all-wheel drive off, and then you can cut it right back on after you do your burnout, right before you start drag racing. And he did that. So I'm either make my own or find out what company made them for that. But that's a cool feature. Yeah, the car just shifts real smooth now. It does seem more torquey. especially in the higher RPMs, man. I mean, the engine is real responsive in the higher RPMs also, and it's usually the opposite. It's usually in the lower RPMs, but let me see. Let these cars go by. I'll do another one. Last one. And we even got the little dirt bikes coming out over here. They do this every Sunday. Let me see. I'm not in this mode. I mean, the car feels, I mean, I know a lot of people say with the ECU tune that they don't really feel anything, but I can feel it, definitely feel it. So I think whatever they were advertising, I think is actually doing that, because I can actually feel the car is more powerful now. And I know some of that is from the shifting too, but it definitely feels more powerful. So I think I'm gonna do the headers, put the headers on that I ported out and heat treat them, and the heat shrink, I'm gonna heat treat that further for the exhaust manifold to keep more heat out of the engine bay, and you know, so it won't, you know, so the motor computer won't pull timing as much. So also I'm going to be looking for like some upgraded downpipes in the exhaust. I know they got sport cats. I don't know if sport cats are better than no cats on this car, or, you know, vice versa. So I'm going to be checking that out too. But I'm pretty happy with the tune. I would say if you get it a tune, get both. Get the ECU and DSG tune together. It makes the best difference. I got the sale price, and I guess being that I drove out there, that they didn't charge me tax either, so there was no tax on it, so that was cool. And the reason why I drove out there is because when I sent them my ECU and TCU numbers, they didn't have a tune for it, for my numbers, so they had to make a tune. So the only other way I would have been able to do it is I would have had to take these out, and the TCU was inside the transmission. So I would have had to take them out, mail them out to them, and with the TCU being in the transmission, I probably would have had to you know, package it in a certain way. Then it would have cost me more just to mail everything out there. I would have had to wait for them to mail it back and then pay extra money and all that. So I was off on Friday, so I asked them, like, hey, if I drive out there, are you know, would I still have to take the ECU and TCU out? And they said no, you could just come down and we'll extract the files, look at the files, and make the files for your car. So they did that, so that worked out better. And then, you know, like I said, it was a nice drive in the TT too. There's a lot of canyons to go through. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'm about to do some Christmas shopping, looking for some games for my son. And the next video, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next. I know I have a brake upgrade coming for this car and my son's car. But the pads, I'm going with the Hawk 5.0 pads. The front pads, they didn't have them in stock, so I guess they're gonna have to manufacture them or something and send them, because I got them from Tire Rack and they were the cheapest. They were on like on sale, so they hit me up and they were like, hey, do you still want them, because you know, they come from Hawk and they don't have them in stock right now. They're gonna have to manufacture them, so they said it'll be a few weeks. So I told them I'll wait. You know, I'm not in a rush. The brakes on this car are pretty good from factory. It's just my son's cars, the brakes that, man, I do not like the brakes on that GTI. I don't know if it's just his car or what. I haven't looked at the pads. It might just be a cheap pad or something, but I do not like the brakes on that car. So I'm upgrading to the 17Z 6 pistons on this car, and I'm going to give him these brakes. So, you know, we'll both have a real good brake upgrade. I might upgrade the master cylinder on his car, because this car has a 25 mil, and I think his car has a 22 or 23 mil. So, but these are single pistons, so he might not need it. But if I can find it for a good price, I might just go ahead and get it, give the car a good bleed, do lines and everything, and change the rotors and pads on his car. All right, that's it for this video. Give a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know if you have any suggestions, and you know, some of you guys out there know more about these VR6 cars than I do, so let me know something. All right, holler at you guys later.